Staying with the Mirror now, an interesting use of the word growing pains to describe some of the most powerful contractions in recent political history.
Yes, the SNP. It really should be shrinking pains.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Sturgeon insists SNP not in a mess. It's not in a mess, guys. It's just suffering some growing pains. By growing pains, she means it's lost 40% of the members.
Yeah.
I mean, there was 72,000 which is down from 125,000 in 2019, because I was looking into it. So they're falling apart completely, which is kind of great.
I mean, it's grown since, I guess, the referendum time or something. Is it around that? But it's quite difficult to know exactly. I wouldn't want to immediately, say, oh, it's just fallen apart. There could be various reasons why its membership might be shrinking.
Oh, it's totally falling apart. I mean, one, you've lost this huge amount of members. Two, she's obviously gone and her husband's now had to go.
Yeah.
And so it's in free fall. And to me, this is not an attack on Scottish independence. I always say if Scotland wants to be independent, which so far they don't, but if they do, that's up to them. But what I do think is interesting is that it shows how if you have these absurd gender ideology, this madness, the Isle of Ryson case, this absurdity, people are just not going to go for that, and it's just wiped them out completely.
It's interesting how they misjudged that, wasn't it? I mean, Scotland was such a conservative culture, traditionally, that it was deliberately excluded. I mentioned this a few weeks ago. It was deliberately excluded from the Sexual Offences Act in 1967, the one which legalised homosexuality, because they knew if they included it, the Scottish MPs would overturn it, wouldn't have it in.
And quite rightly so, Simon. However, I think what's really interesting about this case is it shows that democracy is actually in crisis in Scotland, where you have the SNP, no other party able to challenge them. So the SNP have essentially atrophied over the years, and they've got more and more demented until they brought in this gender ideology. But really, the SNP is a party that's not fit for purpose, because their only real policy seems to be screaming the words freedom over and over again.
Yeah, it's true. They're overly fixated on that one issue, aren't they? There's all sorts of things that they've allowed to go by the by. And you're right, it has effectively become a one-party state with all the usual dysfunctionality that proceeds from that. I mean, it's very rare in world politics that one party has total dominance for very long before this kind of, quackery starts emerging, right?
Yeah, but I also said it was going to have its Berlin Wall moment with this Sturgeon thing, and that's what's happened. I mean, they've completely fallen apart.
Yeah.